Welcome to Uhus Jugger Tutorials step-by-step spars making guide. To get more information about certain materials and other tips and tricks, watch my tutorial 1 and 5 on chain making and on basic spars making. First, what you need. A core rod, water tube insulation, sleeping mat, strong duct tape, mattress foam, rope and double-sided tape. The measurements depends on your rule book, of course, but most important is total length for most of the spars. Only for the staff, the effective reach is just as important. Now to the step-by-step building instructions for a core rod staff. First, take your fiberglass tube or rod or whatever you use and cut it to the right length. Be careful, fiberglass is not your friend, so wear a mouthpiece or breathing mask and wear gloves at all times. The dust is very dangerous. Insert and tape a piece of matte foam to protect the ends. Now apply double-sided tape on your core rod. It's important that you press hard and draw hard so there are no bubbles in your double-sided tape, otherwise your spar won't hold so well. Nice work, Dennis! Now it's time for the hit zone padding. If you are using one big insulation, then one is enough. Otherwise you will have to apply the small one first and draw the big one over it then, if you're using two. At first, the top where the point will be applied has to be cut into form. Also, if you're using two, a small and a wide insulation, then you can let the smaller one just stick out for 3 centimeters. Otherwise, we would recommend to make a bullet-shaped form on the top, but always be careful with your fingers, of course. If you are using a small insulation, let the small one stick out for 3 centimeters. Now it's time to insert the core rod into your tube insulation. First, measure the length of the grip, that you know where to start and where to stop with your insulation. And then peel away the protective cover, the yellow one, from the tape. That might be a bit, well, hard, but it works usually. Inserting the core rod needs some force now and then. Be sure that you press it right in, so that again there are no sort of bubbles, that there is no air between the insulation and the core rod, because otherwise your core rod won't hold that long. So it has to fit really tight. To make it hold even better, insert double-sided tape into the gap, so that when you press the insulation together, that it will sort of be taped together. Note that only double-sided tape won't hold that long, but when you have applied the cover, your spar will be much more durable. Just a hint to cut your double-sided tape in half, put it on the board with one end, then put the knife on the tape so that it cuts through, and then draw the double-sided tape through the blade so that it's parted. That's much easier to part it than if you try it with a scissor or with something else. Now remove the yellow protective cover again from the tape and press the insulation together as hard as you can so that it really fits tightly. Let's prepare the point. As you can see, the foam block that will be our point doesn't fit by itself on the top, of course, so we have to help it a bit. And in any case, whether you're using small or wide insulation, you have to cut sort of a pothole into your foam block that will be later at the point. For that, mark the diameter that you need then cut in with a knife so that it is easier for you to sort of dig out the foam, and then use your fingers to, as said, dig out all the foam until you have a nice pothole, sort of. That pothole that you did there should fit perfectly on the top of your insulation. So that looks nice. Okay, next is to cover the top with double-sided tape so that the point holds better, and again press away any bubbles. Now press the point on the tape so that it fits well and sits on it nicely. By itself the point won't hold so well, but we'll come to that later. First we have to cut the point into shape. I personally prefer a bullet-shaped form, so like a pistol bullet. But of course you can do the quick way as shown in this video as well. Now the point by itself won't hold that long, it will break off, so don't just use a point, always use a cuff as well. As you can see here, the cuff makes the spar a bit broader, which is good because it's safer, and also it stabilizes the point, which is its main function. So put double-sided tape on a piece of mat, sleeping mat. It should be about 10 centimeters or 15 centimeters wide, and at least 1/3 should cover the point and the other 2/3 should cover the insulation. About 5 centimeters of the point foam should stick out of the cuff. I prefer even more, and then compress it down to length. Measure again whether enough point foam is sticking out from the cuff. Again, it's crucial to push and draw really hard so that your point really fits well. If the cuff doesn't fit really tight, then it will go off sooner or later. Now cut away the leftover sleeping mat foam so that you don't have any edges left. Voila! Start taping the cuff now so that it doesn't get loose by itself. Nice one! Now this is the last chance to cut away the edges from the mat foam. I would recommend though to cut away the edges already when you cut the sleeping mat foam into shape and not when it's already on the spar. Now to the pommel. The pommel is quite important as a safety measure, and many rules of Jugger require a pommel on certain spars, like the longsword, the shortsword or the staff. The pommel has to be quite well done because it can go off easily if you grip your spar on the end, which might happen when you, for example, thrust with a longsword or something like that. So see to it that it's done really well. Again, cut away the edges, which allows for a better grip and makes the spar more stable. And again, tape it so that it doesn't get loose by itself.
Oj! Om du bor i Sverige och är intresserad i jugger så är det väldigt välkommen att gå in på Projekt Jugger i Sverige på Facebook eller på vår hemsida och få en svensk version av den här videon. Material och information finns på jugger.se.
Now it's time to prepare the grip surface. You may use whatever material you like. I would recommend rope. Even only rope for the shortsword is nice, but a Q-tip, for example, should be covered with something else to protect your hands and your opponents from burns and stuff like that. Again, it's very important to draw hard the rope around the grip so that there are no gaps whatsoever left between the parts of the rope. Fastening the end of the rope may be done with just a piece of double-sided tape. Then cut and open the rope that you get individual strands, sort of, which you can then press on the double-sided tape individually. After that, just apply normal tape around the pommel and your pommel should be quite nice and finished. Now for the cover of your spar. People have experimented with different materials, for example with nylon covers, but usually it's enough to take strong and good quality, high quality duct tape. I can't stress it enough. Take the expensive duct tape, take the good one. You won't be happy if you just buy cheap duct tape that goes off after a while. If you are using the fast point building method, so to speak, just press it down a bit and then draw the tape over it. Another thing that's important to remember when taping your point is that more than about 3 layers or maximum 4 layers of tape might make your point too hard, so don't apply too many layers of tape on your point, or apply the tape around the point and not over it. Again, it's very important to stroke and press on the tape so that there are no bubbles and no creases left, because they are prone to damage your spar after a time. Tape can cut into the foam quite extremely, as I've shown in another Uhus Jugger tutorial on shield making. Check again whether your point is still soft enough. It's very important that it's both soft and robust. You mustn't feel the insulation through the point when you're pressing hard on it. Cut away any leftover tape. As said, tape, creases and stuff like that can be a danger to your spar. There are different methods of taping your spar. I would recommend to apply 3 strips of tape lengthwise along your spar and then do short circular pieces of tape around your spar, starting at the bottom. Starting at the bottom with circular taping offers you kind of a roof tile effect and might make your spar a bit more robust. The faster method that Dennis shows us here offers quite nice results as well, and is much faster, of course. Whichever method you use, your tape should overlap 1 or 2 millimeters, the other tape, otherwise it might cut into your foam and damage your spar. On the grip side, just cut into the tape and press it down so that you get sort of a stair effect. Apply a circular tape cuff as you would do with circular taping. Now let's find a nice cover for our grip. Generally, as said, it's up to you with what you want to cover your grip. I prefer only a rope. It has a nice feeling, but I'm also always wearing gloves. And for Q-tips, for example, you will need some other cover, not to endanger other players. Oh, and thanks Dennis and Rickard for filming this beautiful step-by-step instruction. Well, and this was the last step, so congratulations to your new spar. Happy fighting! Thanks for watching and see you again soon.